On Golden Girls is the sixth episode of the first season of the Golden Girls, and I really thoroughly enjoyed this one. This one is about Blanche's grandson David, played by Billy Jayne, and there will be spoilers from now as I discuss various aspects of the narrative. David is coming to stay, and there are some changes that need to happen. For example, Dorothy has to share a bed with Sophia, and we have this wonderful moment of bonding between the two of them where they reminisce about times when Dorothy used to go into Sophia's bed when she was a child, and it's so sweet and such a lovely moment. We have met David at this point, and he's not very likable. He's quite disrespectful and he goes off and does his own thing. He doesn't care about anybody else and he wakes everybody up with loud music. And everybody goes into the front room when this loud music's happening and he's just there with a bunch of random kids, and obviously they send everybody away, and David is really disrespectful to the point where Sophia hits him, which I hadn't expected. And the audience cheered, basically applauded at that point, and there was that moment of satisfaction where certainly I felt it doesn't matter how old she is, she's not going to let him push her around, and I thought that was certainly very interesting. However, Blanche felt like Sophia didn't have a right to hit him, which is fair. I think that's also a fair argument, and there's a little bit of tension in the house. However, they decide that in order to help him get on the straight and narrow, they're going to give him some chores. And this is largely because they have a discussion where they realise all of them had chores to do except Blanche. Blanche didn't have chores growing up. She didn't give her daughter chores when she was growing up, and obviously now her daughter hasn't given David any chores. And they kind of come to the conclusion that the lack of structure and responsibility in David's life up until this point has led him to turn out the way he is, which I think is really thought-provoking. And I think the episode raises some really good points. It's also quite a funny discussion with Rose talking about the various very interesting farm animals that she had to help raise. Some of them are certainly very fascinating anecdotes. And David, understandably, is not happy about these chores and he's going to just leave. And Dorothy gives him this really great pep talk. And I really loved the moment between Dorothy and David. And I thought everything worked out really well and it went in a really great direction. I wasn't expecting David to then turn around and say, actually, I really enjoyed being here and I want to stay. I actually thought it was a joke. I thought he was saying it and then we were going to get something that was a prank, or he was, going to do something that he shouldn't have done. Like he was saying it to wind them up. But actually, it seems like he genuinely really meant it, which is a good thing because it helped to show that by giving him those responsibilities, it allowed him to see that actually this is the right way to do things. These people actually care for him and care about his well-being. In reality, I don't think he would have come to that conclusion within a week, but nevertheless, it was a nice message. And when Blanche phoned up his mother, her daughter, I also genuinely believed, as the other girls did, that she was bluffing. When she said, I want to keep him, I thought it was to make her daughter turn around and say, no, you're not having my son, because she doesn't want her mother to have what she wants. And when Blanche actually said, no, I wasn't bluffing, I genuinely want him to stay to have a second chance of raising a child right, it was a little bit emotional and a little bit moving to think that she believes she messed up her daughter and that's why her daughter is now a terrible mother. It was definitely thought-provoking. They could have done more with that, but I think just planting that thought was enough. I really enjoyed the episode. I think it had a lot to offer. It was very unpredictable. It's definitely very funny at times, and it's a nice look at the different kinds of ways to bring up a child. For example, we have Blanche not giving her child any chores and how that's kind of now reflected in David's behaviour. Then contrastingly, we have a very sweet anecdote with Sophia and Dorothy climbing into her mother's bed when she had the nightmare about the bear. It's all very, very, very interesting and really thoroughly enjoyable. Very funny, but very moving. And ultimately, a really good episode.